Hello everyone. Button. Here it is. Hello gang. Is hello? Yeah, okay. Hello friends. Hope everyone's doing well today. I have cooked up something delicious here. This deck is low-key so fun. And it's with a new card. I would say this deck is fairly budget considered for expanded, because the most expensive card that's in here is Poké Pad. That is it. Poké Pad is the most expensive card, period. Which feels crazy to say. Hope everyone's having a nice day, by the way, so far. I am incredibly busy this week specifically, so take this as a notion that next stream will be on Friday, same time, like 7 PM GMT +1, rather than Saturday or Sunday. So the next Commander match will be on Friday, 7 PM GMT +1. Should we check out what this cool deck does? Should we? Because I was a little inspired. Last weekend I bought an Ascended Heroes ETB. I got like one Poké Pad unfortunately, but I got a bunch of other cool cards, including 2 Reverse Holo Medicham. As you can see, I got the Fighting Reverse Holo, and I got the, I think this is the Quick Ball Reverse Holo, something like that, and this is a Proxy. So this Pokemon is pretty cool, especially in expanded, because I'll show you why. So Medicham. Let's see if I can. Yeah, okay, that's better. So this Medicham is a stage 1 Pokemon, 120 HP, has 1 retreat cost, weakness to Psychic. Yeah, okay. As the attack 7th kick for 1 fighting energy, it does 150 damage. That's a lot of damage for 1 energy on stage 1. If you don't have exactly 7 cards in your hand, this attack does nothing. Now you might be wondering, no, isn't that attack just absolute ass? And I would say in standard, I think this attack is absolute ass in standard. But if we're talking expanded, well, let's just say that I can make it work. And this is actually like not a bad attack whatsoever. Think about it. And I'll show you guys exactly why. First, to get the most boring thing out of the way, we do run 4 Meditite as a pre-evolution to this. I think that makes sense. I think this Meditite is the best one because it's a 70 HP 1 retreat 1, and you can flip a coin to para your opponent for 1 energy. The reason I wanted like there's also a Psychic type Meditite that has bench protection built in its ability, but one that has 60 HP, so it still dies like Phantom Dive from Rich Drago. And 2, it's not a fighting type. I do run Strong Energy in this deck, and Strong Energy cannot be attached to something that's not fighting type. And I would like to attach Strong Energies to Meditite, so I do have to run fighting type Meditite. If you run the Ascended Heroes Meditite, that's also fine, because that's also 70 HP, 1 feed 1. I think this attack is like a little bit better. But ideally, you never want to attack with Meditite itself. You rather want to attack with this gorgeous Medicham. I guess I'll put it here. I'll enclose and everything a little bit. As you can see, some of these cards are proxies. Like, I'm the king of proxies. This is just here for fun showcase. I do get to use like mostly real cards here. I want to say this is like about. I want to say this is about. What is it, like 45 real cards, 15 proxies, something like that. Maybe even less than 15 proxies. I have some lighting on this. I think that's slightly better. You might be wondering, like, Noah, how are we ever gonna like consistently every turn get 7 cards in our hands? Well, there's a tiny little 30 HP friend that can help us a lot with that. We run 4 copies of that friend. Do you guys remember Plasma Freeze Exeggcute? If you don't, that's okay. Has 30 HP, a basic Pokemon, of course. That's 1 or 3, doesn't really matter. Attack doesn't matter either, but the ability is where it's at. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put this Pokemon into your hand. So, technically have a card that can always be added to our hand from our discard pile, unless our opponent has like Wobbuffet active or Garbodor or something like that. We always have access to extra cards from the discard pile if we are card short. And usually we're gonna be card short. I wanna just straight up tell you. Usually we're gonna be card short. But Exeggcute is gonna help us with that. And the way that we find Exeggcutes from the decks itself, by running 3 copies of Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor is an item card that searches our deck for up to 3 cards and discards them, and then shuffles our deck. Really powerful card for fitting purposes, but also allows us to add up to 3 Exeggcute from deck to our hand, if you think about it. And since Propagation allows Exeggcute to go from discard pile, which is public information, to my hand, private information, I can technically use this ability more than once during my turn. Even though it says once during your turn, if there's an Exeggcute here that goes from my discard pile to my hand with Propagation, I discard it via some means. There's no saying that that's the exact same Exeggcute, because it entered my hand. It's private information. It could be a different Exeggcute. So the Pokemon ruling for that is that you can just use Propagation as many times as you want during a turn, even if it's the same Exeggcute, because there's no actual way of verifying that it's that same Exeggcute. Which is pretty cool. We have more ways to draw cards by discarding cards to facilitate these Exeggcute, so that these Exeggcutes in our hand can actually do something. We run a 2-2 line of Purrloin and Liepard. The Purrloin is not that special. I just picked the best 70 HP Purrloin with 1 retreat and an attack that actually does something. Discarding a tool from the opponent's active. Or not even the opponent's active, just discarding a tool from one of our opponent's Pokemon. Technically this can attack. I don't think I want to attack with this at all. But the main reason Purrloin is here is so that it can evolve into Liepards. Stage 1, 100 HP Pokemon with 1 retreat cost. It's a dark type. Attack doesn't really matter. But there's Trade. Trade says that we have to discard a card from our hands to draw 2 cards. That's pretty cool. Pretty good. And if we choose to discard an Exeggcute, we don't go +1, we go +2. Because of us being able to retrieve that Exeggcute from the discard. So we kind of have some tunability if we want to draw 1 card to our hands or 2, which is really, really cool. We of course have more ways to draw cards. A lot more ways. We run 3 copies of Lily's Determination because this card is just way too good. Was my stream lagging just now? I feel like it's lagging a little bit. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. Let me open my task manager to see if any weird programs are running. There's a few intensive programs that are running, yeah. It's mostly my Epson printer stuff. It's mostly that. I think the rest is fine. Yeah, okay. Anyway, 3 copies of Lily's Determination. You might know this card from Standard, but it's a supporter that shuffles our hand into the deck and draws 6 cards for us. But if we have exactly 6 prizes, we draw 8 instead. So if we play this on turn 1, or like turn 2 going first after we've made a Medicham, we just have to play 1 card from our new hand and we can already do the attack. Which is pretty cool. 3 copies of Lilies. And for some hand disruption, we also have 1 copy of Iono here. Iono allows both players to shuffle their hands, put it on the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards equal to remaining prize cards. Pretty cool cards, if I do so myself. And once again, if we're on 6 prizes, this just straight up draws us to 6. Potentially, with 1 Exeggcute proc, that can get us to 7. But this is more for disruption of our opponent. The reason we're running such low count of draw support is because of Verse Seeker, which I'll get to in a second. Most of the energy base for this deck, like I mentioned earlier, is Strong Energy, of which we run 4 copies, well, 2 proxies and 1 real one. Strong Energy is a fighting energy that can only be attached to fighting Pokemon and provides fighting energy while it's attached to fighting Pokemon. Will be discarded if it's not attached to fighting Pokemon. And the attacks of the fighting Pokemon this card is attached to do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, or applying weakness or resistance. So, technically, we're not doing 150 damage with 7th kick. We're doing 170 damage base if we're just calculating in Strong Energy. But if we're calculating other things like, I don't know, Premium Power Pro, which is an item that reads that if we play it, it makes our fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to our opponent's active. Suddenly we're looking at 200 damage after 1, or 230 after 2, and so on. Obviously it's hard to find multiple of these to play in one turn, but we have more ways to boost the damage of 7th kick. So with 1 Strong Energy and 1 Premium Power Pro, this attack will do 200 damage. But we can boost this damage to 220 if we have a Diancie Prism Star on the bench. Diancie Prism Star basically just buffs the fighting Pokemon attacks from active by 20. Diamond Rain is not really an attack we're going to use because that will cost 3 of our 4 Strong Energy. And then there's also Grant, which we can play as a supporter for turns to boost the damage of attacks we do by 30, which puts us to 250. Which means if we play 2 Premium Power Pros and a Grant during the turn, with 1 Strong Energy and 1 Diancie in play, we one-shot Regidrago V-Star. But the extra effect of Grant is actually really powerful here. If it's in a discard pile, we can recover it to hand if we just discard 2 other cards from our hand, which can help us for hand size fixing. And even the other way around, it can help us for hand size fixing if we choose to discard Exeggcutes, which we can get back into hand anyway. Yeah, Grant is a really, really cool card for this. I'm starting to notice that I'm running out of room here. So I'm gonna be moving everything a tad. Now let's just move. And this here, so we can move the lilies here. I think the Iono can still fit here, yeah. Strong Energy, whoopsie. And Premium Power Pro can go here. Then we have Diancie, Grant, and we have, of course, to buff fighting types even more, 3 copies of Focus Sash. Focus Sash is practically, what's that card called in Standard, the A-Spec in Standard? It's a belt of some kind, it's an A-Spec. Survival Brace, I think is what it's called. Which allows a Pokemon to take 1 hit from full, and then go to 10 remaining HP rather than 0. This does the same for fighting type Pokemon, and it's not an A-Spec, so we can actually run multiple. Really cool. We run 3. Because Focus Sashes are cool. There we go. And you might be wondering, like, okay, Noah, like, this feels a little one-dimensional. I mean, you're running a cool single price deck. Feels a little one-dimensional. Let me tell you, there is a reason we're only running 3 of this Medicham. And that's because there's another Medicham that's also really, really cool. This Medicham has 2 useless attacks, 90 HP, but it has the ancient trait Mega Barrage, which allows us to attack twice during our turn. Attacking twice during our turn is pretty good, because we can use, for example, the attack Technical Machine Crisis Punch twice, which costs 3 colorless energy and does 280 damage to our opponent's active, but only if they have exactly 1 prize remaining. But if they are on 1 prize remaining, we can use Crisis Punch twice with this Medicham, and just 1 attachment of Ignition Energy, which gives us 3 colorless energy if we're an evolution Pokemon. It will be discarded at the end of turn, but that's fine because Crisis Punch will also be discarded at the end of turn. This is a great finisher, and it's built into the Medicham line, which is really, really cool. Excellent tech for this. Now, we've discussed a lot about combos this deck can do, how much damage we can do, but we need to find the Pokemon. We need to set up, of course. And there's plenty of setup. We run 4 copies of Buddy-Buddy Poffin to search our deck for up to 2 Pokemon with 70 HP or less and put them on our bench. This is the main way we're going to get Meditites in play, but also Purrloins. Also, another Pokemon that we haven't discussed yet, multiple Pokemon that we haven't discussed yet that are tech Pokemon. They can also be grabbed with this. We don't want to bench Exeggcute, of course, because Exeggcute we want in discard pile in hand, not really in play. Sometimes we're going to have to start it, but it is what it is. For more search, we're running 4 copies of Poké Pad. As you can see, I only pulled 1 of them, the other 3 are proxies. Poké Pad searches our deck for a Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box and puts it into our hands. Really, really great. Unfortunately, it can't add Diancie Prism Star to our hand because Prism Star Pokemon, it does have a rule box. Sorry, I'm just fixing the proxies a little. But it can grab almost every other Pokemon from our deck. There's 1 more that also has a rule box, but isn't a 2-prizer. So that can also not be grabbed by Poké Pad, but we'll talk about that when we get there. With roundouts, we only have a few more cards that search for Pokemon. We have 2 copies of Ultra Ball on top of that to once again search for any Pokemon from our deck, but we have to discard 2 cards from our hand in order to do this, which is fine. Especially if we have access to Exeggcute, it won't really cut in our hand size that much. The last card that searches Pokemon for us is 1 copy of Artazon, which is a stadium that can bench a non-rule box basic from our deck onto the bench. A really good card for decks that don't really use that many rule box Pokemon, and as you can see, this deck does not have many rule box Pokemon whatsoever. I'll talk a little bit about the other Pokemon, the tech Pokemon that I mentioned. If we are going second, we probably want to attack with Budew, turn 1 going second. Budew is a 30 HP Pokemon which can item lock our opponent for 0 energy and 10 damage. Pretty cool. Unfortunately only has 30 HP, like I said, but it has free retreat as well. This card is just really good. Like, Budew is just insane. Even in standard, but also in expanded, this card is insane. Hello, Strategic, welcome in. The fuck is this shit? We run 1 copy of Ditto Prism Star. This is the other rule box Pokemon that Poké Pad and Artazon can't grab. But this allows us to evolve into any stage 1 when we have this on the bench, so we can use this to evolve into a Medicham or a Liepard. It's just acting as like a 5th Meditite / 3rd Purrloin whenever we need it, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, it has only 40 HP. That is what it is. Hello, Marco. You are gay. That's true. I mean, you ain't wrong. You forgot Exeggcute. That's an interesting message to come in with, but you're speaking facts, not gonna lie. Oh, we're getting slurs thrown to my head because I am gay. That's awesome. Alright. Enjoy your hypocrisy elsewhere. Goodbye. Alright. He was saying "fuck you." The message didn't come true because of the auto mod thing. That's why we have auto mod. Initially, the "you are gay" message was also auto modded. I was like, yeah, no, we just let it slide. It's fine. I don't mind it. It's funny. But yeah, we're not gonna pro slurs because someone's gay, right? We don't care about that. Strong first gen right there. Holy shit. Yeah, it's the strongest I've seen in a while. Yeah. Hello, Strategic. Hope you're doing well, by the way. What a moment to come in. Alright, the last Pokemon we are running in this deck is one copy of Mr. Mime. Of course, this is like the best bench barrier we have available to us because it's Psychic type, so it's not disabled by Wobbuffet or... Yeah, no, it's just Wobbuffet in this case. And it's also 70 HP, which means it's Buddy-Buddy Poffinable. Really, really nice. Are the Poké Pads proxies? 3 of the 4 are. I own 1 real Poké Pad, as you can see. This Poké Pad here is real. I got 1 of them from My Ascended Heroes ETB, but the other 3 are indeed proxies. And I mentioned this at the very start, but the most expensive card in this deck is Poké Pad. So this deck is actually fairly affordable, which is really funny. I'm assuming Poké Pad will eventually come down in price, but like this card is fucked. You went down Mr. Mime, but his IRL is like $16. Yeah. I think the Mr. Mime and the Poké Pads are probably the most expensive cards together with the Ditto Prism Star. I think that's the case. Every other card is very, very affordable. I would say like Strong Energy versus Seeker and Battle Compressor are like not the cheapest cards, but they're not that expensive. Same goes for Guzma. I'm mentioning several cards I haven't shown yet, but that's fine. I don't care. They're staples for a reason. Yeah. Also, I also don't have this Mr. Mime. As you can see, this one is a proxy as well. This Mr. Mime is a proxy, as you can see. I don't own an actual Mr. Mime yet. I don't own one yet. You can pick up a playset of Versus Seeker and Battle Compressor for about 20 British pounds. Yeah, that feels very affordable, honestly. Not gonna lie. Alright, let's talk about the last few cards of our deck, because we have, I think, about 8 cards remaining to talk about. Yep. It's exactly 8. We have 1 copy of Rescue Carrier as our form of recovery, because mostly our basics are going to get targeted in this specific deck. This one can recover almost every Pokemon. Can't recover these Medichams, of course, but it can recover this Medicham because it's 90 HP. It can't recover the Liepard, and it can't recover Ditto Prism Star and Diancie Prism Star because they can't enter the discard pile. But other than that, it can recover any other Pokemon in this deck, so it felt like a really solid, really compact way to add recovery in this list specifically. Then we have more tools than just these 3 Focus Sashes and the Crisis Punch. We have 2 copies of Float Stone just for some extra mobility. Because of course Liepards can get stuck in the active, but we don't want that. Other Pokemon can get stuck in the active too, but I feel like Liepard is the most likely candidate for that. Or maybe Diancie Prism Star. For some extra mobility, we have 1 copy of Guzma in here, which is also our gusting option. This is basically Prime Catcher on his supporter. And together with 2 copies of Versus Seeker, we can use it up to 3 times in this game, in any given game. But we can also use it to add Iono to our hand from this card, or an extra Lilies, whatever we might need at a certain point. This is also why Battle Compressor is super nice, because we can use Battle Compressor to discard like 2 Exeggcutes and a cool supporter that we want to use for the turn. If we have Versus Seeker in hand, we can just immediately Versus Seeker the Battle Compressor card and use that supporter, which is really cool. It's a niche way of actually getting the supporters that we need. You've been hard cooking Expanded Beta recently? Ooh. You have? I feel like the deck that makes no friends, it really didn't work for me. I tried it out a little and I lost like every game. Maybe it's because I was giga-bricking every game, but... or maybe just a better pilot. That's also very, very, very possible. We have 2 more cards to talk about in this deck. One of the cards is our A-Spec Neutralization Zone. Is this the best A-Spec for this deck? Maybe, maybe not. I think Legacy Energy has some merit as well. or Computer Search or Secret Box. But I like Neutralization Zone because we run almost no rule box Pokemon. The only rule box Pokemon we run are the Ditto Prism Star and Diancie Prism Star. And Neutralization Zone makes us immune to Pokemon EX attacks, which might be useful in, for example, the Iron Thorns EX matchup, which is already a pretty good matchup for us. But I just like the card, okay? This is probably not optimal. I like control install decks, correct? Do I have some decks for you? Ooh. Okay, I am interested. Your big dinner. You're good, you're good. Thank you for looking. And we have one more card to talk about, which is one copy of Field Blower. This is just a generic tool in stadium removal, for example, for Chaotic Swell, for opposing Focus Sashes, or honestly any tools that we might find annoying. Field Blower is our guy. Anyway, this is the 60. Does anyone have any questions about the 60? Do not ask about the A-Spec. I was panicking this morning and I wanted to finish this build, and I was thinking Nude Zone was funny. It's probably not optimal. You can add another... You can consider adding Computer Search or Secret Box. Hell, even Prime Catcher probably. Maybe even like Megaton Blower, whatever you want. But I like Neutralization Zone because it's funny. And also this deck like hard loses to Mega Absol stuff, I feel like. So if you want to wall Mega Absol, that's cool. Unfortunately the card still gets discarded from your hands, but at least we don't take damage from the Megas, which is cool. Anyway, I'll shuffle up these 60 and see how they run. I'm really excited to playtest this because I haven't really gotten much time to playtest this. Normally I try to playtest the decks a little bit before I play them on the big screen here. But with this one I've done very minimal testing, so I'm curious to see if it actually is gonna perform as well as I'm expecting. I'm not grabbing my V-Star and GX markers because there's no V-Star or GX powers in this deck. Oh, thank you for claiming your daily Nuggy strategic. I appreciate it. Alright. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Ideally, we do want to go first with this deck, specifically because we want to evolve as fast as possible with both our Liepards and our Medichams. That's just the game plan we're gonna follow. Alright, I do need to give this a good shuffle, of course, because everything is sorted. Every multiple instances of a card were right behind each other, so I do need to shuffle thoroughly, especially because there's a lot of 4 counts in this deck, like the Meditites, the Poké Pads, the Poffins, the Premium Power Pros, the Strong Energies. Lilies is practically almost a 4 of with the versus Seekers. Alright. Now, I will take a sip of water before we get started. If you have any questions about the deck, feel free to ask them now or later. Later is also fine during the game, I do not mind. Alright, let's flip a coin to see if we go first or second. That's the wrong coin. I want a different one. Let's just say heads is first, tails is second. That is tails, so we are going second, unfortunately. And also, unfortunately, I still believe that we're lagging quite a bit. So let me just see if I can help my engine a little bit more. Why is Citrix still running things? Oh no. right. I think that should help. Yeah, okay. Let's get started and draw 7 cards. There we go, that's 7 cards. We do have a basic in our hand, but unfortunately it is an Exeggcute that we have to start with. Right, put down 6 prizes, flip over our active, and we are going second. Draw a card for turn. Lilies is definitely like not bad here. We're going to start off with a Buddy-Buddy Poffin, but let's check what's in prizes first. I will actually leave it open here to see what's in prizes. There's a Purrloin prize and a Sash, but I don't think the other cards are too offensive that we're seeing in there. Since we are going second, I do believe that we kind of have to try for Budew stuff. Although starting Exeggcute is really awkward here. And do we just hope that we draw into Float Stone? We might. We might have to just hope that we draw into Float Stone. Okay. Bench Budew and Meditite. I will attach a Strong Energy for turn onto the Meditite. I mean, it's nice that we have Grant in hand already, but I'm gonna have to shuffle him. Unfortunately, we have to use Lily's Determination. Yeah, I do notice that there's quite a bit of lag sometimes on the camera. That's unfortunate. I wonder why that is. I would have loved to develop a Purrloin here as well, but unfortunately we're not really able to do that. Let's draw 8 cards. Find Exeggcute, Meditite, Liepard. Wow, where are the other cards, bro? 8, this is 7. Why am I drawing just Pokemon? I'm not a fan of this. We can bench Purrloin and Meditite, I guess. Do we all bench Mime Jr. or Mr. Mime? I think it's fine. We can attach Focus Sash here to the Meditite. But unfortunately we don't have a retreat this turn, so we're just gonna have to pass. Now let's just assume our opponent is annoying and uses, like, if we're playing against Regidrago, their best option is to go for Distort to take this prize and item lock us. We will push Budew and draw cards for turn. We will evolve into Liepard. We are item locked due to Distort, so unfortunately can't play Battle Compressor. What we can do though is use trade to discard an Exeggcute and draw 2 cards to draw into the Medicham. That's really evolve into Medicham. Don't know if I want to bench this Meditite. We're up to 4 cards in hand and we can get 2 extra Exeggcutes, which is not enough. But I definitely want to Lilies to 8. Question is, do I bench this Meditite? This gives me higher odds that I find a basic Pokemon that I can bench. So because we're item locked, it's probably not that easy to find 8 cards to play from our hands. So I think it's better to not bench that Meditite. So we have higher odds of drawing into a Meditite to bench. That is of course if we want to swing this turn. Right, let's draw 8 cards. 5, 7, 8. At this point, We want to play multiple cards from this, which is fine. I have 8 in hand. We can attach for turn here, which puts us to 7. Don't necessarily need to evolve there. I do want the Float Stone in play. Well, I have 2 Float Stone. Don't really need that yet. We definitely want to evolve this Meditite into Medicham and bench this Meditite. We can of course use 2 propagations to put the Exeggcutes back into our hand. Fill us back up to 7. This could have been a Budew turn. This is like turn 2 going second, but we can retreat. We can also just retreat into this Medicham and swing with 7th kick for 170 damage. Let me just display the 170 damage on my opponent's active, like so. There we go. That's 170 damage on our opponent's active, and my turn. My opponent is likely going to try and gust KO the Mr. Mime if they want to go for... they want to like try and cure me later. So they're likely going to go for Gust Mr. Mime and KO Mr. Mime with like Shred from Dialga GX or something. Maybe it could be that they maybe do Timeless GX on this. In which case I promote Budew. That means they can Timeless GX me for, or they can. But that's disgusting. Do we just assume that they don't go for Timeless GX here? I mean, I'm pushing Budew also, always. Let's just draw a card for turn, which is Exeggcute. Okay, we have 8 cards in hand. Let's play Rescue Carrier. Recover that Mr. Mime. There we go. We want to bench the Mr. Mime here always. Cards do we have? 7. I can play a bunch of cards, so it's probably fine if I trade away an Exeggcute. Draw 2. Need Premium Power Pro right now, but it's nice for later. We have 8 cards in hand. I can attach the Float Stone to Mr. Mime. Kind of want to do more this turn, but I don't think I can. Probably best if we just retreat Budew into Medicham and take the KO with 7th kick to get 2 prizes. Two prizes. I do unprice Purrloin, which is hype. Also unprice versus Seeker, super cool. Alright. So what's the most devastating play that my opponent can do here? I think the most devastating play that my opponent can do here is go for Timeless GX here to proc my Focus Sash. And then go for... Distort to KO me here. I think that's probably our best bet, their best bet here. Let's push Mr. Mime. I go down to 3 prizes and I'm item locked. Very relevant. Draw a card for turn. Alright. I have a lot of cards in hand here right now. I need to remind myself that I can't play items here. What is the best course of action here? I think we're gonna have to find some other cards. So let's discard this Exeggcute with trades and draw 2 cards. Found another Medicham, that's awesome. Not sure if we want to make that right now. I think the play is definitely to play Grant to boost their damage by 30. We have how many cards? 10. Then we use Grant's effects to discard Field Blower and Purrloin. Blower to correct this card here. Correct this card is actually Poffin. No, it's Poffin. Get Grant back into our hands. These 2 go to discards. We are at 9 cards. Means we can still do Float Stone. We're at 8. And we can do Neut Zone. Now we are at 7 cards. Hence, without playing items, can you? How many Exeggcute are in my discard pile? There are 2. Do I want to play more? Don't think I want to play down that Purrloin. Tempted to evolve into Medicham, but let's not. Let's retreat the Mr. Mime into Medicham and use 7th kick for 200 damage on our opponents. 100 damage is on our opponent's Regidrago V star. We didn't have Gus this turn, but that's okay. Then it's our opponent's turn. Unfortunately, do not have Sash on this, but let's say the Neut Zone sticks for a turn. They can't do any damage. We use Distort to item lock us again, but then they don't do any damage. We draw for turn. Item lock is once again super annoying. Can we play more of these cards? We probably can play more of them. I will use Liepard to discard Grant and draw 2. Another Meditite, that's what I wanted to see. Evolve into Medicham. We have exactly 7 cards in hand here. A bunch of these are items. I don't really want to play anything else, so let's use 7th kick to... Jesus Christ, it scared the shit out of me. Get 2 random prizes. Stand ready for your arrival word. Hello Sam. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. 2 random prizes. Which are... Focus Sash and Lily. Nice. Nice. Alright. So, let's assume Newt doesn't stick around for this turn. They find a KO, or they find a Stadium Bump. And what else can they do that's really devastating? It's probably, once again, Gus Mr. Mime so they can cure him things later. Right? Is it Gus Mr. Mime so they can cure him later? I think it's Gus KO Mr. Mime. I think that's probably the most devastating thing they can do here. They don't want to go to 1 prize if they know the matchup. Let's assume that they KO Mr. Mime. We go down to 2. Let's push Budew, it doesn't matter. Draw for turn. They're looking forward to F1 this weekend, doing alright. Hell yeah, you'll love to see it. Right, I think the play here is... attach the Sash to Meditite so that... Wait, hold on. How many Sashes are we down? Are we down 1 or 2? We are down 1 Sash. So we need to find the other Sash to make it so that Kurum never takes Euron can always take 2 prizes, here's the problem. Because you can always KO Budew and Liepard. And we don't have any recovery from Mr. Mime. That's unfortunate. Is there a way in which we can do like a cool Gust KO with Premium Power Pros? I don't think we have Guzma in this card. We don't have Guzma in this card. We just have Lilies and Grants. Was up until like 3 AM of last weekend for the opening of the opening round of MotoGP. Damn. Always happy when race season starts again. Love to see it. Alright. Might have to do some finning here. Let's Ultra Ball away Exeggcute and Liepard. For Exeggcute question mark? No. We have to go for display. We can't actually go for that play. Because our opponent's not on 2 prizes. Yikes. We have to go for a Gust KO on something. What the hell is this Medicham? You can't read it? Hold on, I'll show you. Anyway, Ultra Ball grabs Diancie Prism Star, and we will bench Diancie Prism Star. Because we need a damage. God. My proxies! This Medicham is from Ascended Heroes. As you can see, this is the Quick Ball Reverse Hollow. 120 HP, 1 attack, for 1 energy, 7th kick, that's 150, but only if we have exactly 7 cards in our hand. Pretty cool. Alright, so we have 150 here, plus 20 is 190. Or sorry, plus 20 is 190. We need to do 280. Grant can do... Do we just have the KO on a Regidrago V-Star this turn? I think we do. Yeah, I think we do. I have to math it out with my hand specifically. Play 2 Premium Power Pros to boost it by 60. We use Propagation 3 times to add 3 Exeggcutes to our hands. We use Grant's effect to discard 2 Exeggcutes to get Grant back into our hands. Play Grant to boost the damage by another 30. We return these 2 with Propagate again. And we can retreat into Medicham. And swing on to Regidrago V-Star for 150 plus 20 is 170. Plus 20 is 190. Plus 30 is 220. Plus 30 is 250. Plus 30 is 280 for the KO on Regidrago V-Star because we have exactly 7 cards. That's what's really... That's such a cool line, bro. Grant plus Premium Power Pros is this busting. Imagine not owning Diancie Prism Star. That was the last physical set you opened, so you have one. Ooh. I must say there's like not very many cards I don't own. Like I don't own the Meditites for this because they were Rebel Clash and I never opened any of that. I don't own the Omega Barrage Medicham, I don't own the Diancie Prism, I don't own the Mr. Mime. And I don't own 3 Poké Pads and 3 Strong Energy, and I think that's about it. I think I own every single other card in this deck, which is cool. Like it's not like I don't own that much from this deck. It's just like a few cards. I think it's like 11 in total. So it's 4 Meditite, Diancie Prism, 1 of the cool Medichams, 1 Omega Barrage Medicham, Mr. Mime, and then 1, 2, 3 Poké Pads and 1, 2, 3 Strong Energy. So that's 14 cards that I'm missing. You own Barrage Medicham too? Hell yeah. This Medicham would have been a menace if they printed it in 2019. Oh yeah. Absolute menace. 150 is honestly no joke for 1 energy attack. It's really efficient. Especially if you can actually manage to get the 7 cards in hand pretty consistently. This is honestly, low-key, one of my favorite creations of all time. Because this is also, like, not that expensive. Like I said, the most expensive card in this deck is Poké Pad. Crazily enough. This Poké Pad just goes for like $7.50. Which is nuts. Alright. Flipping a coin. Let's say heads is first, tails is second. We do want to go first, ideally. It is heads, so you go first with this. Let's take a sip of water before we continue. It's kind of booty in standard. Oh yeah, this card is booty in standard because fixing your hand size to 7 is not easy at all in standard. Hachiko is looking to be the greatest budget deck you've ever seen. Hell yeah. People were thinking like Murkrow with United Wings was going to be the best budget deck ever. But it seems its Evolution Hachiko is way better. To be fair, I feel like Regis were also pretty budget and they also did kind of well, right? Alright, so we are going first in this game. Let's not open Exeggcute this time. Hell yeah, we're opening Diancie instead. We do need a Float Stone for this though, holy shit. Or a Guzma. $5 for the full 60. That's crazy. $5? That's not much at all. Alright. Flip over that. I feel surely this is. Surely the deck is going to get more expensive if it's actually going to do well, right? Because I feel like Petrol is already rising in price for post rotation. Unsure about that, to be fair, but. Until they add unfair stamp and it's gonna be $80. I'm so happy I already own like 1 unfair stamp at the very least. Okay, let's draw a card for turn, which is Float Stone. That is really funny. I do open to Exeggcute already, so this Battle Compressor is less ideal. This opening hand is really awkward actually. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should have attached Focus Sash here. Surely we're not going to get KO'd turn 1 go second. So I priced Mr. Mime and the cool Medicham and one of my Strong Energies, one of my Premium Power Pros. Okay. Pricing is not that offensive, but pricing Mr. Mime is kind of unfortunate. First time would have been a good investment if you were if you were one of the super lame people that sees Pokemon cards for the money. I don't. I see Pokemon cards as, like, if I want to own this, I have to pay something for it. But I don't see it as, like, oh, let me invest in it, because I really hate selling Pokemon cards. I'm gonna be honest, I hate selling Pokemon cards. Do we want to discard a supporter here so that if we draw into it with... if we draw into it, then we have a higher chance of getting it? Or do we just... I guess... We can just discard Grant into Exeggcute. That's probably fine. You've never sold a card? Yeah. I often trade cards at my local events. I often trade cards with my friends. Sometimes that becomes selling, or like we do a trade that's slightly uneven and we are like adding some money to make it even. But like actually like trading via card market, I have it set up that I can sell via card market, but I haven't added anything. Because I just don't want to go through the hassle of like the mailing and stuff. If a card is like 700 raw and you'll never sell it, hell yeah. That's how I feel as well. Like, I don't want to sell my cards. They're cool. Right, I guess I'm passing. I'm drawing for a turn. Oh my. Okay, so we're not breaking that bad. We just had to take 2 turns off, which is really bad, honestly. Let's use Grant's effect to return this to hand by discarding 2 cards from hands. And then use Lily's Determination to get some more cards. So that all the Exeggcutes are in discards. Hyper Rare Mega Rayquaza. Oh, yeah, that is a really cool card. 10-year-old, you knew that was worth something and you put it into sleeve right from the back. Hell yeah. Slay. There's an ad coming in 2 minutes, unfortunately. I can snooze it if I want to, but... I'll just continue playing for now. Okay, we're going to 8 cards. Definitely bench Meditite, bench Purrloin. Attach Strong Fighting Energy for turn here. Play Artazon and use Artazon. Get another Meditite in play, I think. I think I have to get another Meditite in play here. I could also go Budew. Budew is probably better actually here. Slow down our opponents. Have I ever played No Man's Sky? I haven't. I've seen a few YouTube videos about it, but I have never played it. But I've seen like a few episodes of like playthroughs. I've seen some streamers play it, but I've never played it myself, no. So I don't know the general gameplay loop, but it's some good fun. Yeah, it seemed like good fun, but it's also seemed like a game that my system could not run. So I was like, yeah, I'll just enjoy it via the YouTube. Right, I'll snooze this ad for now. And I'm gonna extra snooze it also. You got it last Friday, you got like a whole ass fleet. Nice. It's on Switch? Oh, I didn't know. I had no idea that it was on Switch. That's pretty cool. Let's retreat Diancie into Budew and Legion Pollen. Rough turn. We have versus Seeker, I guess. My hand is so sauceless at the moment. I kind of have to fin with Artazon first. And get Meditite, I think. Yeah, Meditites. I could go for Purrloin, but if I want double Liepard, I'll use the Ditto Prism. Shuffling doesn't matter right now. I'll play versus Seeker to get Lily's Determination back into my hands. Do I want to use a Premium Power Pro before releasing? Probably not. Let's use Lily's Determination. Not multiplayer support for Switch, but 99% of the time you won't see another player anyway. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like there's a lot of empty space that you can just explore in. So that's it seemed like a cool game, but also I have like 5 million things to do. I have like 7 different hobbies, of which content creation is just one of them. So I almost never have time to actually play video games, which feels crazy to say. It's a bit sus for performance. Yeah, see? Not a fan of that. 6. We got 2 more, because we have 6 prizes remaining. We have 8 here. Okay. See how far we can get. Let's use Poké Pad to grab a Liepard. There we go. Switch 2 version is full support of the game though, but you weren't gonna buy that. Okay, that's fair. Alright. Poké Pad gets discarded. We evolve into a Liepard. I'll use Propagation once. And then I will trade away this Exeggcute for 2. Found a Medicham. I think we already had that in hand, yeah. And attached the Focus Sash to Medicham. How many cards are we at in hand right now? We are at exactly 7. Do I want to use this Battle Compressor for something? think I definitely just want to sash up this and attach an energy for turn here as well in advance. I'm gonna hold on to the Battle Compressor. I'm gonna use propagation twice to get our hand to 7 cards. I'm gonna retreat into Medicham with Focus Sash and Strong Energy, and let's use 7th kick for 190 damage. It's likely not gonna KO one of their 2 prizers, but it can next turn. It's just like terrain editing a lot of times are less bueno, but normal gameplay is good for Switch if you ever want to play that and have time. Alright, that's a good chat. That's a good chat. So, the thing with Expand's playtesting is that I feel like our opponent could do lots of things during their turn. So it's kind of hard to predict if they want. It's also kind of like dependent on their deck. If they want to like gust something up to KO it, or if they want to proc the sashes for now. It's hard to say. Like, if we're assuming we're playing Regidrago, they can't really do much here. Well, they can try to do a Curum attack to KO Ditto, Budew, Liepards, but is that in their benefit because they discard all their active energy as well? Yeah. That's probably the best line they have, to just go for the Curum attack to KO those 3 things on bench. The rest is sashed up or out of range. So I think that is their best bet. So that means we are on 3 prizes. This is lassoed. Or they're on 3 prizes, okay? I'll draw for turn. We'll definitely have to make this a Medicham. And now the question becomes, what do we do here? Do we want to Artazon? I don't know. Like, Artazoning from Meditite feels very risque. Same goes for Purrloin. It feels very risky. Not sure. Let's go for it, because why not? What's the worst thing that could happen here? Go. Do we want to Gust KO something from their side? We can Gust KO like Lele, maybe. Lele doesn't resist fighting. So we can Gust KO Lele with Guzma if we want to. Is that gonna help us further into the game? I'm not sure. Let's Battle Compressor. I don't really want Purrloin or Liepard anymore. Guess it's probably better to cut lower on the Poffins. Sorry, on the basic Pokemon. We do have Rescue Stretcher in hand. For any card that's truly useless at this point, Grant is. Well, it's not useless, but we want it in discard pile. Let's do it like this, I think. The Battle Compressor, I think this is fine. I think that's fine. I'm planning to do Lily here, not Guzma. That's why I'm debating it. Let's go for Lilies. Shuffle everything in. Draw 8. Alright. Rising is a little unfortunate for this matchup, if I'm gonna be honest, because we would have loved to go for like the late game Omega Barrage play, but that Mega Barrage Medicham is prized. I think I do want to PAF in. For 1 Meditite. I think that's nice. It's actually not worth to PAF in for the Meditite, I just realized. It's not worth it whatsoever. I do want to be finning here, so I will Poké Pad and Exeggcute to my hand. And I will Ultra Ball that Exeggcute and this one away. Or a Medicham. There we go. Spinning is winning. I don't need Premium Power Pro because I did 190 to the active Regidrago V-Star last turn. Can do another 90. 190 this turn. I think 2 Propagates is enough to get to 7. Yeah. It is. Let's 7th kick for the 2 prizes. I do want prize Medicham, that's really good. What is the most devastating play that Regidrago can do right here? It's probably Distort for 50 damage here and item locking me. Or something with like Megaton Blower. How likely is Megaton Blower here? Like, even if they Megaton Blower to cure him doesn't win them the game because of the board setup. They've already... So what they can do... is... That's probably the most devastating is Timeless GX here. Which procs the Sash. And then take another turn to go Megaton Blower. So I discard all of this. And then attack here and here. And then, let's say on this Medicham, take 2 prizes. That's probably the most devastating thing they can do. Is there a way out of this for me? I don't know. Draw for turn. Is there a way out of this for me? Probably not, but I'm gonna try my darndest. I think the play has to be Guzma something up. Push Diancie. And then Focus Sash Diancie. And need to find a way to somehow get Meditite in play this turn. Which I don't think I can do with the current hand I have here. I can Battle Compressor. Discard Field Blower. Maybe not Liepard. Discard Field Blower. We'll actually discard Liepard here. And Iono. I think this improves my odds the most of finding a Medicham or Meditite next turn. Fucking ads? Yeah, I'm sorry. And then we pass over to them. Hopefully they don't have an attack this turn because they just cure themselves. Let's draw for turn. Find another Float Stone. Let's attach Float Stone here. We don't really have an out, unfortunately, so let's say we pass. They proc the Focus Sash. Why did I attach the Float Stone here? That was not what I wanted to do. Whoopsie. We draw for turn. Okay, we find Ultra Ball. Get Meditite. Ultra Ball away. That's and then we play Neutralization Zone, Float Stone to Meditite. And we pass. This walls first, like at this point we're cooked. If they have Stadium Buff, they can take the last prize, or if they have an attack onto bench with Purim or Salaman's attack. Time to copy and paste your Valplume bundle list until live so you can stare and look at the cards you still can't play after 4 years. I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay, so at this point we probably lost the game. Poké Pad doesn't draw anything. We need one card specifically from our deck, which is Crisis Punch. This year's the year, I believe. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Why did my earbud make that noise? Or, yeah. Did my music just stop? Oh. My earbuds are not connected anymore. Oh, great. Awesome. Why are they not connected anymore? Please connect. Okay, there we go. My earbuds are connected again. 30th anniversary and hold that. Yeah, let's hope. Let's prage. So, we can evolve into Medicham here. The cool one. But unfortunately, we are kind of at the mercy of when we draw Crisis Punch, as you can see. There it is, finally. Crisis Punch. Like, this is not realistic, but in this scenario, we can Crisis Punch Ignition Energy to use Crisis Punch twice to hopefully, maybe potentially get 4 prizes off of that with like 1 or 2 Premium Power Pros. That's how you cheat. That's how you cheat the games. This is how you cheat. Cheat the game and come back into the game. That's how you do it. But of course, it wasn't very likely. We weren't very likely to hit it there. But it's possible. Like if we hit like a Seeker or Lilies, we could have definitely hit it. Can you guys still hear the music? I think you guys can, right? Yeah. Oh. Do you guys have any questions about the deck? I really like the deck. I don't think it's like that good. but it's at least good enough to hold its own against a few meta decks. Like, for example, this walks all over Iron Thorn ZX, this deck. This deck is absurd into Iron Thorn ZX, which is one of the best decks in format right now. What are the other Medicham options? Okay, so we have 3 of the cool Medicham, the new one, the 7th kick one. And the other Medicham that you saw just a second ago is this one, the Omega Barrage Medicham. Like, the attacks it has are kind of ass, but if you give it Crisis Punch, that's a pretty good attack to use twice in a row. So that's the other Medicham. We run 3 copies of the 7th kick one, the new one, and then 1 of the Omega Barrage one. I don't know if there's like any other Medichams that are good, but yeah, it's just Barrage, that's the other option, with Ignition and Crisis Punch, just because it's silly. I like Crisis Punch. I don't run Blindside. We could consider Blindside. Blindside is fun. But we don't really have room in deck for that, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't flip for first or second. I just flipped for that. That means we're going second. At least we're not opening an Exeggcute. That makes me happy. The Blindside is definitely a card that you could consider adding here. It's a silly card for sure. Right, open the Meditite, draw a card for turn. We have Meditite Purrloin, which is nice. With Poffin and Compressor. What are my prizes? I priced 2 of my 3 sashes. That's really bad. The rest doesn't really matter that much, but I mean, 200 Snipe is fairly solid, but unfortunately it only works on Pokemon that are already damaged. So it only works specifically in the scenarios where we try to 2-hit KO a Pokemon, but they retreat before the second hit. I think we kind of have to go Budew Mr. Mime here. Going second. Although, we don't have Float Stone in hand, so we can't get to Budew anyway. We do definitely have to go to Mr. Mime here. I think we just grab another Purrloin. Yeah, and then for the Battle Compressor, we discard 2 Exeggcute and a Grant. There we go. I think that's probably the best play we can do here. I could have Poffined for Ditto Prism Star, but I like developing double Purrloin here, saving the Ditto Prism Star for later. Me and Logic SMH? What do you mean with that? What do you mean with that? Me and Logic. What do you mean with that? What do you mean by that? I really like the double Purrloin here because I have 2 Liepard in hands, but let's... No fub. No fun. Oh. Dude. Right. So, second turn, let's evolve into double Liepards. I think... Yeah. Gonna propagate once. Use trade to discard Exeggcute and draw 2. We're gonna propagation once. Gonna trade to discard Exeggcute and parts. There we go, we found Lily's Determination. Awesome. So bench Meditite. Evolve into Medicham. Do I want to use the Premium Power Pro? How likely is it that I hit... it's more likely that I hit Strong Energy if I play my Premium Power Pro. And I don't have sashes, so I probably should be very aggressive. So let's play Premium Power Pro and then Lily's Determination. Man, Lily's Determination is so good. Alright. And let's draw 8 cards. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. We can attach a Strong Energy to it. And we have 7 cards in hand, so we can swing for 200 damage. That's really cool. Maybe that KO's a single prizer. Do we take the 1 prize here? Probably not. In most matchups, we just do a KO to 2 prizers, or 3 prizers, so let's just leave this right now for what it is. This is probably going to be a dead Medicham, if I had to guess. So, go to 5 prizes. Or our opponent, sorry, goes to 5 prizes. Push Meditite and draw for turn. You can attach Strong Energy here. Evolve into Medicham. Do I want to Poffin for anything? I think my only Poffin target is like the 4th Meditite and Budew. I think I'm just gonna bench the Ditto. Do I want to Versus Seeker for anything? Maybe. Versus Seeker for Lilies is not bad. If I do that, I should probably use Poké Pad to get myself another Medicham. Yeah, unfortunately, Poké Pad cannot grab Diancie Prism Star, but it is what it is. I can't bench that right now anyway. Because of the Mr. Mime and me benching the Ditto last turn. Let's evolve into Medicham. Versus Seeker for Lily's Determination. Play Lily's Determination. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And draw 8. That is 6, 7, 8. I do have double Liepard up, but I don't know if I want to use all of that. Let's Float Stone Mr. Mime. And use 1 Propagate. Actually, no. It's probably better here to use 1 trade to discard Exeggcute. Draw 2 cards. Because this way I have 8 cards in hand actually. Ooh, fun. But I can play Battle Compressor still. I can also play Premium Power Pro, but I want to save those. Let's play Compressor to see if we can thin out a little bit. Probably want to discard Budew. And Exeggcute. Probably not Artazon. Probably like Poffin. Poffin is not that useful. Wait. And I'll actually discard the other Poffin as well with this and not Budew. Alright. Goes to discards. 7 cards in hand, so we can swing again with 7 cake for 2 prizes. Compressor Ultra Ball. That's not Focus Sash. Shitties. They probably KO Medicham if we're gonna be honest. Or prizes. I push Mr. Mime and draw cards return. I think we Ultra Ball 2 of my useless cards from Medicham. Just so we have it ready on lock. Spinning is winning. Evolve into Medicham using the Mighty Evolution. I think Iono is the play here. Let's Premium Power Pro. Play Iono. I want to save all of these for later. Actually, I don't want to use Premium Power Pros. Draw 4. Oh, I'm so good at it. Holy fuck. Let's just put the Exeggcutes to top. So I know where they are. I'm gonna propagate once. And then I'll trade away an Exeggcute, draw 2. Propagate once. I'll trade away an Exeggcute to draw 2. This is now 8 cards in hand, so I can't play both Focus Sash and Strong Energy. I can if I propagate twice. Because Grant is in discard, right? I should have checked that for. Yeah. And I can get Grant back in my hands. Discarding the 2 Exeggcutes. I now have 9 cards in hand. So what I can do now is this and this. Still have 7 cards in hand. If I want to, I can even Float Stone attach here, but that's a little bit touch extreme. Let's retreat into Mr. Mime and swing with 7th kick for 170 for a clean 2 KO against another 2-prizer. My opponent will likely if we assume he doesn't have any gusts, they'll swing into the Focus Sash. We draw for turn. I don't know if we want to bench that Meditite. Definitely want to bench this Diancie. Man, this proxy kind of sucks. It's only just. Ideally, we do want to Guzma this turn. So we can trade away Grant for 2. 2 Premium Power Pros. Nice. We can trade away Meditite for 2. Man. There's no Guzma here. Let's discard down to 7 then, or not discard, yeah. We have to attach the Strong Energy somewhere if we want to, or we can fill a Poké Pad, that's probably better, or... I think I actually will use the 2 Poké Pads to thin a little bit. Only 1. But it's fine. Now we have 7 cards in hand. And we can swing with 7th kick for another 2 prize. I do notice a tiny problem here. that is that I've not developed another Meditite. They KO this. They only go down to 3 prizes, and I can't use that guy. Last few. Mr. Mime. Oh. Let's Rescue Carrier. Or Meditite. Just Meditite. Medicham. I think I'd rather attach the Focus Sash here. No, it has to go here in case they mess that up. I guess I'll commit a Strong Energy to it as well. Thing is, I think I've run out of other Medichams, because that's 1, 2, 3, yeah. But we can still go for the Yoga Shock, which is really cool. So we can trade Budew for 2. Find Crisis Punch Ignition, that's all I needed for the play that I wanted to do soon. I'll attach Float Stone to Diancie for posterity. And let's trade again. How many cards do I have? 5 cards. Don't want to trade again. Let's retreat into Liepard and pass. Probably KO Liepard. Push Mr. Mime. Man, we run out of Medicham. Back strategic. We can try to paralock them in this case, which is really funny. We can Guzma up some like support Pokemon. Then we can try to Yoga Shock, flip a coin. If heads, our opponent's active is now paralyzed. It is heads. It also does 50 damage because of Diancie and Strong Energy. So that's really nice. That buys us a turn. Technically, I don't really want to buy turns here. How many cards are in deck? 3. Don't really want to buy turns here, so let's Yoga Shock again. For another heads, can I flip tails, please? Yoga Shock again. That's a tail, so that it's not paralyzed. So, what's the most devastating thing they can do here that doesn't win them the game? It's probably Megaton Blower. It's probably Megaton Blower into KO active. In which case, I still push Mr. Mime, draw card for turn, trade Lilies for the last card in deck. Okay, didn't matter. But we can do the cool play now. Attach Ignition Energy, attach Crisis Punch. Versus Seeker for Guzma. Play Guzma. It doesn't matter how tanky their 2-prizer is. We can just Crisis Punch twice for 370 damage. 2 times. Surely that's enough for 2 prizes, right? Bam. That's the play I was working towards. I ran out of Medichams way too quickly, unfortunately, so that's why I went that way. Honestly, should probably run like Ordinary Rod. No, Ordinary Rod recovers basic energy. Thing is, if we're playing against Temple of Sinnoh, we kinda suck. So maybe we do play Ordinary Rod and then 1 fighting energy. instead of like Rescue Carrier. Or we run Seeker Dash, that's an option. Seeker Dash feels a little overkill though. Maybe it's just a Night Stretcher. Because we want the Pokemon to go to hand immediately if possible. So maybe just a Night Stretcher. Over like Rescue Carrier. Or actually rather on top of Rescue Carrier, because there's just slightly too little Medichams to work with, I feel like. Maybe it's just super odd angle, but who knows. Do you think when TCG Live updates expanded, I would do TCG Live gameplay with similar decks to see how the game would actually play out? Yeah, that is the plan. Unfortunately, I don't know enough people to like try the shit out on Twin Leaf or anything. By the way, Twin Leaf is not the play here, because they are really slow with implementing new cards. They don't even have some older cards I really like to play with. And like PvP Tabletop is nice, but that means I would require another person to be with me for this stream specifically. At least one person. For me to try this deck out. You know what I mean? So it technically would be feasible right now, but only if that were the case. Specifically. And also I like holding the physical cards. Showing the cards off. I like that. Alright. Flip. First or second, that's heads. So let's go first. You and Strategic are here every time if we need a player. Yeah, but I need someone who's here like literally every time, and then also for the whole stream, and also be willing to play Expanded with me for several hours. And then maybe also potentially using different decks for that. So it is an option for like maybe one time. But is it an option for every time is what I'm trying to ask myself. I also don't want to ask too much of you, because technically I could do these streams on my lonesome as well, and like I need people for Poké-Commander as well, so I mean, you're right, we could do webcam matches. That would be fun. Do we start Diancie or Purrloin here? You know, there is some merit to that maybe, Sam. You're right. There is some merit to that. We don't know the matchup. We're probably opening Purrloin. We have 4 people for Commander this Sunday? Oh, I didn't see that. That's really cool. I'm very excited for that. Or this Sunday? What? We're not playing this Sunday, we're playing this Friday. Not Sunday. I was so confused, I was like, wait, I'm not streaming on Sunday. Yeah. We're playing on Friday. This weekend. Maybe that's the reason why why a lot of people are able to join this time. Because it's on Friday. I put announcements in the Discords whenever, like when I stream. These are always on Tuesday, like literally always, except for like last week when it was a Wednesday. But hey, who cares? These are always Tuesday. Whereas Poké-Commander kind of shuffles back and forth between Saturday and Sunday. Oh, we priced Ditto Prism Star. That's unfortunate. Okay. Pricing Crisis Punch is not the greatest either. Right. What do we want to Poffin for? Well, at least one Meditite. We are going first, so probably it's just going to be 2 Meditites at this point. Especially since one of them is priced, I think 2 Meditites is just a play here. We're also definitely going to Battle Compressor. For 2 Exeggcute and a Grant. Grant, where are you? There you are. Oop. You didn't even sign up for Commander this week because you were too lazy to actually click the reaction. Are there actually 4? I don't know. I haven't looked since I posted the ban list update. It could be that people are reacting fire to the ban list update without realizing that it's the enrollment for Poké-COMMANDER. That could be the case. That could be the case because the announcement for Poké-COMMANDER this week and ban list update were both in the same post. That might be it. Or maybe it's the fact that you reacted fire to the ban list update. Okay, I see. So you did sign up. Sorry, but that message with the skull emoji was like the funniest thing there that could have happened there. Do I Poké Pad? Do I do one Poké Pad here? Maybe I do. Hold it. I don't really think I want to develop any other basics at this moment other than Mr. Mime, but I could top deck Poffin next turn. Let's pass. That was turn 1 going first. Let's draw another card for turn. Ultra Ball. Yeah, okay, awesome. Let's play 2 Poké Pads to get Liepard and Medicham. I think that's a play that I have to make here always. Let's do like Medicham Mime Jr. Mime Jr.? This is Mr. Mime. We can propagate twice. And then Ultra Ball away these 2 for the Liepards. I don't know if I want to go for Premium Power Pro because I don't know if I can switch that out yet. So let's Lilies. So I would have to draw into a Float Stone to get this out of here. Maybe U-turn board is better than the Float Stone here because it can also help get Exeggcute out of active. Like maybe instead of 2 Float Stone, I go 1 Float Stone, 1 U-turn board. Because Float Stone is only useful for the Diancie, which has 2 retreats. The rest is 1 retreat, so I could go for like U-turn boards. And if like Exeggcute gets knocked out with the U-turn board, for example, then I get the U-turn board back to hand. Pretty cool. Alright. Draw 8. That's 5. That's 8. So I do draw into Float Stone. That's really cool. We do have a Strong Energy. Do I want to Poffin for anything here? Check my deck real quick. Getting another Meditite is not bad here. I don't think we need another Liepard. Oh, I have to Meditite in hand, don't I? That's amazing. Guess I'll fill the Poffin. I do have the Meditite in hand. That was a little bit of a misplay. But I think we're still fine. I could have kept the Poffin. I think that would have been optimal, keeping the Poffin, but we can propagate once. Trade Exeggcute cards. We can Battle Compressor for 2 Exeggcutes. We already had Battle Compressor. Exeggcute and Exeggcute, and I guess we can discard Purrloin as well at this point. Or Budew. What's like the one card we don't need in this game? Guess we don't need Poffin any points. We don't need Poffin at this point. Alright. I have 5 cards in hand, but I have a lot of Exeggcutes, so I really wanted to Poké Pad for Another Medicham just for backup. Just to get this out of the way. 4 cards in hand. But I have 3 propagators here. I actually prefer using Grant's effect here. Get that to hands. And then propagate once. Just so that I still have 2 execute in discard pile. I do have 7 cards. So we can retreat into Medicham and swing for 190 until, like, let's say we do it into a 1 prizer for 1 prize. That's our turn. Early Medicham gets knocked here because we don't have Sash. Putting them to 5 as well. Rough turn. What do we do here? Kind of want to trim our hand down as well. I don't think there's a puffinable thing that I want right now. There's Purrloin, but I don't want that. Let's not grab that. We can Poké Pad for the cool Medicham. Or for another. Do we have... So I think we still have the third one, right? Oh, no, the third one is priced. Yeah. So we have cool Medicham here. Shuffle, shuffle. Let's use trades to discard Exeggcute and draw 2. Oh, versus Seeker, that's really nice. Okay, versus grab just lilies. The lilies here. I feel like my hand's not really doing much. Fear that I have to. Yeah, I fear that I have to lilies. Let's Float Stone the Diancie versus Seeker. Release Determination. And release Determination. Oh yeah, Noah. I finally cracked open you finally cracked open the Arceus VMAX League Battle deck so you can start building Arc and expand it. Oh yeah. I'm reading Arc. I was reading Arc instead of SRC. I said like Arc for Arceus, and I'm like, damn. I didn't know Arceus got a VMAX card. You meant Shadow Rider Keller X VMAX because I can't read. Yo, Sam actually got that spicy nugget. That's so funny. Okay, we found Sash. Really wants. Bro, I have 2 Sashes here, but come on, man, I don't have the energy. That's so annoying. Guess we could Rescue Carrier, Meditite, bench that, Sash that. Arceus V-Star is getting a reprint in Celebration set along with your beloved Pikarom. You're so happy. Wait, did they reveal some already? Oh wait, that was on the... Oh right, I didn't clock that. Yeah, that's so right. I kind of skipped ahead on the Pokemon Day presentations to Wind and Waves. I forgot there were TCG announcements as well. I am so stupid. Like of course there are TCG announcements. I just didn't look for them whatsoever. I mean, I was assuming we were getting a reprint set that Celebration's like. Let's discard the Liepard from. Well, LTCG creator. Holy shit! You destroyed me. That's crazy. You destroyed me with that line. How much Pokemon Search do I have here in deck? None. So it's better to discard Liepard. Jokes. Yeah, of course it's jokes. That's so funny. Holy fuck, that was brutal. Played a supporter this turn already. Kinda want to fin more, and I think I can. Thing is, I still don't have an attack this turn. So what I want to do, I want to propagate for 2. I want to Ultra Ball these 2 Exeggcutes. Or really matter, Budew, I guess. For finning. Alright. Then we propagate these 2 back to hands. And I use Grant's effects to discard them and add Grant to my hands. Do I want to play Nude Zone? Stall? I can't play Nude Zone to stall. Nude Zone. I'm not attacking this turn anyway, so it doesn't matter if I don't have these cards in hand. For the Nude Zone stall, I think I want to push the Meditite. And pass my turn. Alright. Imagine this time that they are legal cards. I doubt it. I doubt it. Wait, what's the full list of reprints we're getting? Because I'm really curious to hear. I figured it would be something like Celebrations. But getting Arceus V-Stars are really cool reprints. And Pikarom as well. Those are definitely iconic cards from recent memory. What is going to happen on my opponent's turn? They're probably going to bump the Nude Zone, because I haven't played any other stadium so far. Let's assume they just swing into active for... They probably want to, like, gust Mr. Mime and KO that. Let's push Liepard again. Draw for turn. If they reprint Genki, my wallet will be healed. You know Pikarom, and that's about it. Oh, unfortunate. Alright. Let's use Propagation to get Exeggcute back to hand. Whoops, there goes all my other cards in hand. There we go. Trade Exeggcute for 2. Okay, awesome. I still can't attack. Oh my god, bro. I guess we just retreat into here and pass. They probably KO Diancie. Sorry, Diancie goes to Lasso. We push Liepard again. Man, where are my energies? I think I will bench Budew just for, and play the Field Blower as well on some of their stuff just for finning. And yeah, let's play. Is there like a list somewhere online to see which ones have been revealed in that trailer, or were those like the only 2 that were revealed? Arceus V-Star and Pikarom. Okay, let's draw 6 off of this Lilies. I finally found an energy. Holy fuck, bro. Alright, let's trade away Grants for 2. I can nuke something off the face of the planet. Hell yeah. Let's retreat Liepards into Medicham. Let's use 3 Premium Power Pros. Think about sequencing here. I want to propagate twice, bring Grant back to hand, discarding the 2 Exeggcutes. I have 4 cards in hand. And then I wanted to propagate 3 times. I have access to all 4, right? Yeah. Now I have 7 cards in hand. And I can swing for 170 plus 90. It's 260 damage, which actually does not KO Regidrago V-Star. But let's assume it takes 2 prizes off of something else. Epic. Those are really good prizes today. Very, very nice. Yes, you just forgot. So you've priced up how much costs to build the decks you want to own in paper for expanded. Yeah, it's kind of rough, isn't it? Well, if they reprint Double Dragon Energy, it's actually not that rough, is it? Because surely Double Dragon Energy is like a very high candidate for reprints on that. I think. Like, that's what I would guess. Okay. What is going to happen here? What is going to happen here? What is my opponent going to do here? I wonder. It's probably going to be something along the lines of Megaton Blower, plus Kyurem attack, putting me to 1. They're probably not KOing Budew, KOing Meditite here. So I push Budew and draw cards for turn. I'm basically forced to go for display with Ignition, Goose. Am I forced to Goose here? I want to draw cards. Can I draw cards? I have Versus Seeker. Okay, hear me out. I think this play is a little crazy, but I think what we do here is we bench all 3 of our Exeggcutes and we Versus Seeker for Lily's Determination. Hold on. Is Lily's Determination correct mathematically speaking? Because Lily's... Yeah, Lily's gives me at least 4 new cards, whereas Iono would only give me at least 3 new cards. Imagine if they reprint all the expanded staples. I would love that. Like, I only have 4 Versus Seeker, 4 Battle Compressor, 4 Float Stone, 4 Trainer's Mail. It would be so nice if we could just get more. It would be so nice. Build all the decks, it would cost you over 250 euros. RIP. That's a big rip. Oh no, wait, I don't Lilies myself to 8, I do it to 6. Well, there's 4 cards here and 6 cards. So I didn't hit it. That's unfortunate. But I can still do Medicham that. Oh wait, I can't actually do that. Hold on. No. That way I won't have 7 cards in hand anymore because I benched my Exeggcutes. Expanded Toolkit would be hella awesome, yeah. There's still 1 more Exeggcute in my discard pile, right? Yeah, there is. Is Grant in my discard pile? I don't think so. Grant is in deck. But me attaching this Ignition is just really, really sad. I would need these 2 at least, which would put me to 5 cards in here. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh well. Should have just Iono'd. Oh wait, that's... Guys, I'm stupid. I forgot that I prized my Crisis Punch. I should never have gone for that play. I should have just gone for another Medicham swing at that point. I forgot I prized Crisis Punch. Holy fuck, bro. You know what you found in your drawer the other day? You found Ancient Origins theme deck with Regirock and it has 3 item log Vileplume in it. And in the box there was a TCGO code and you redeemed it on TCG Live and you got 3 copies of item log Vileplume. That's so funny. I love that. I'm assuming you mean like not the Gen 4 one, but the Ancient Origins one, yeah. Yeah, you said Ancient Origins, that's right. Alright. I think I did showcase this deck really well. Like I said, the Neutralization Zone is maybe not optimal. It's really funny though. I really like Neutralization Zone. If you're building this deck for yourself, I recommend adding in a Night Stretcher somewhere. Just to alleviate the need of those 3 Medicham. You can probably cut like an Ultra Ball for the Night Stretcher or something. Or maybe another card that you don't like playing. Is there any other card I would recommend cutting for Night Stretcher? Let me just take a quick gander in the deck. Oh yeah, you can do U-turn board over one of the float stones if you'd like that. I guess you could do Night Stretcher. Oh, if you do that specifically, if you replace the second float stone with U-turn board, you can probably replace one of the 2 Exeggcutes, or one of the 4 Exeggcutes with Night Stretcher. That's fine. 3 manning already? Yeah. I mean, we can do one more. We can do one more fun one. One more fast one. Medicham EX would be fun. What does the Medicham EX do again? We can do one fast one, sure. I'll try to do one where I actually, like, don't overthink everything. Shit. There, 3. So we're going second. Like, if I were to play in a tournament, I'll just do that pace. What the fuck is this opening hand? I mean, I'm not gonna complain. That's still too Meditite. We are going second, so let's draw for turn. I think this is probably fine. Poké Pad for Exeggcute. I want to price check real quick. Okay. We Ultra Ball to Exeggcute. One more game. First attacks put damage counter on your opponent's active until it has 50 HP remaining. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. I think we go Purrloin here. I mean, on Poké Pad for Diancie. You have Liepard in hand, so it's probably better to go. You don't know the second attack. What attack cost does that Medicham EX have? That's actually kind of relevant. Hold on, let me snooze the ad. Alright, that's end of turn. Second turn. Medicham, Liepard. Propagate. Trade. Camera, hello? Camera, where did you go? Hello? Okay, I think we're back. Yeah, camera's back. Yippee technology. This is not centered whatsoever. That's fine. I'll just do this. There we go. Anyway, I drew Ignition and Iono off of those cards, so I'll bench Budew, Iono, draw 6. Strong Energy, Battle Compressor, 2 Exeggcute and Grant. Saw Grant in here earlier, he should be in here, yep. Had 2 colorless for that attack. Okay, that's interesting, so you could Ignition for that. Would you say you would only need 2 item lock Vileplume for Budew Vileplume? Yeah, probably. You probably will need 3 Vileplume if you're playing Tatsugiri EX, but 2 Vileplume is probably fine for Budew Vileplume. Alright, let's see, how many Exeggcutes? I have all Exeggcutes and Grants, okay, so I can kind of go wild with the cards I'm playing. Focus Sash, Mr. Mime, we're not going to play that Float Stone. Propagate 4 times. Get Grant back into my hand by discarding 2 Exeggcute and get 2 propagation triggers. And 7th kick for 170. Probably KOing a 1 prizer. Let's say they hit into my Sash. I'm just trying to do a high speed game for this one. Yeah, Ignition with the Medicham ASC is fun. True. I would love to discard all of these stupid Exeggcutes from my hands, but I don't think I can. Poké Pads. Oh, I want to grab Purrloin here. Just another Meditite. I think I'll just grab another mid. But I played Budew Vileplume a while ago on stream, right? I don't think the list for that has changed. I don't think Planet Heroes changes that list. I don't think you want to run Poké Pad in that list anyway. Meditite. I guess what I could do is play Grant. Get Grant back into hand with this. And then trade for 2. And now I have once again 7 cards in hand. And we can 7th kick for 170 again. Sorry, 200 because we played Grant this turn for say another 1 prizer. Let's say our opponent KOs this. I'm just thinking very one-dimensionally right now, but I just want to see how fast I can play this deck properly. Rough turn. Let's develop a second. Trades. Execute. Number 2. Medicham. Poké Pads. Just looking at other decks you could build in the future for expandability. That's valid. That's very valid. Oh, I priced second Liepard? That's a little awkward. I didn't properly price check for that. I'll grab Medicham then. Probably look if I have Rescue Stretcher in deck. That card's kind of relevant at this point in the game. I do, okay. Oh shit, the big F word came out from Strategic. What happens? What happens? What's up? Please do, pray tell. Poké Pad is for Medicham. I think we're gonna Battle Compressor here as well. Discard Battle Compressor. Pads. And Poffin, sure. You just remembered you sold a bunch of Pokemon card bulk to your local card shop because you thought you didn't need the cards anymore. 3 item lock Vileplume were in that box. Oh shit. Oh, that's sad. At least item lock Vileplume is not that expensive. But that is a little sad. A little sad. These are all discarded. Kinda still need to find my sauce somehow. That's just parts. Premium Power Pro. Release determination. Rip strategic. Not looking through his bulk properly. Rip you. It's not the worst thing in the world. Why is there a card here? Oh, these cards were also in my hands. I once sold bulk, where accidentally my whole playset of Arven was also in that bulk, quote unquote. I still don't have the freaking energy. That's so annoying. I just wasted this Premium Power Pro, unfortunately. Patch, Focus Sash, and Itchy Fallen. Opponent probably kills that by bumping this. Okay, draw. Float Stone. Poffin for Meditite. It's calm, you can get 2 Volplume for 75 pence each. Yeah. I figured it's not that expensive. Not a lot of people care about expanded cards, especially for commons. We are gonna go for a propagation. Discarding this for 2. We are gonna go for double propagation, Ultra Ball that's Medicham, or this Diancie. Go for Diancie because it's fun. Focus Sash right here. Artazon down. Retreat to Purrloin and pass. Let's say they kill this. I push this. Draw off turn. Don't think Artazon grabs anything, right? That's not what I meant to do. Definitely bench Diancie in this scenario. Propagate. Trade to evolve into Medicham. Not a lot is going on here, unfortunately. I can Guzma something up, but that's about it. Treat into Medi and pass. Let this die. Opponent goes to 2. Liepard. Draw for turn. That's release. That's nice, I guess. Kill Poffin. Release. We can Field Blower some of their stuff. And then release. I feel like I do want to bench that Ditto. Release though. Right, draw 6. Finally, there's a Strong Energy here. And a Premium Power Pro. Treat into Medicham. Propagate. Rate. 2. 6 cards in hand, so we can propagate once. And then swing with 7th kick for 220. Probably nabbing a prize cards. There's some light parts. Right. Say Guzma Diancie. I think that's a fairly normal thing for them to try that. 1. Draw for turn. And I'll just have to find the lethal here this way. Oh shit, I attached Focus Sash to this. That's not smart. Let's retreat here to Medicham. Let's play Lily's Determination. I wonder if I can finish before the ad break starts. Right, I found Ignition and that thing. Why did I retreat here? I should have retreated into this. And then passed with Poffin and Artazon. Poffin can grab me Exeggcute. Don't really need anything from deck other than maybe the Premium Power Pro. Pass. They probably will hit in this Focus Sash here. And I will draw for turn. Ignition, Technical Machine. Trade, Grant for 2. The last card in deck is first Seeker, right? Yeah. Premium Power Pro. Premium Power Pro. Double Crisis Punch for 340. I'm taking 3 prizes off that. Hell yeah. This deck is hard to play, man. You really have to be meticulous about your hand size. And you're very prone to bricking, unfortunately. You could consider playing 1 Hilda in here to actually search for evolution in energy cards. I think Hilda is not bad here. Guzma Hala is another card that you could consider adding here, I think. Especially because it can grab Focus Sash and Strong Energy. I think Guzma Hala is probably a better play here than like Ultra Ball. You know what I mean? Guzma Hala is pretty good with this, I think. Might be better as a Goose Holocore, but I like this version of the deck. I think it has a lot of potential. In my opinion, this has a lot of potential. And you could probably make it a little better with the Goose Holocore. But I like this version as well. I think both have their own merits. Alright, let me just roll over to my PC and the ad break just started. That's awesome. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome sauce? Holy fuck, I hate ads. Right. Sorry for the mic bonk. I am at the PC and we are gonna go look for someone to raid. Thank you so much for watching. Poké-Commander will be next. Poké-Commander will be next Friday. Let me see if I can find someone cool to raid. There probably is someone. Let me just take a look. Ooh, he is live again. Hell yeah. Let me try that. Right. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Let's go raid into Lee. And bye-bye.